There are 4 different types of command words that you will have in your practical cake craft exam. The first one is the most simplest, so give, name, state or identify questions are the most simplest and they just require a short, straightforward answer, normally just a few words long. The next one is describe. When you're asked to describe something, you want to be given a short description, which is usually a short sentence. The next command word is explain. So this is where you are given a description, but also a reason why or how to go along with it. When you're explaining, you might want to use the answer structure fact and consequence, or description with a reason why or how. And for explain questions, when you're answering them, you want to check back in your answer and try and use the words so, therefore, as, or because, which we commonly refer to as stabbing your answers. So by using those words, you're usually elevating your description to an explanation and giving that reason why or how. The final command word is evaluate, and this is the trickiest of the 4 command words. When you're evaluating, you're given a fact, an opinion and a consequence, and you're saying if something is suitable or unsuitable. In the next couple of slides, I'm going to give you a few examples of the level of detail that you need for the different types of command words. If your question was asking about a method of variation, if we were asked to explain a method of variation, remember we just need a few words for identify questions, so we could simply write creaming and we would get a mark for that answer. If we're asked to describe a method of variation, we're looking for a short sentence. So we'd be looking for something along the lines of creaming trapped air. If we were asked, however, to explain a method of creaming, we want to be using that description, but we want to be given a reason why or how. So we'd be wanting to write something along the lines of creaming helps trap air, which is your description, and then we want to give a reason why we want to be trapping air. So helping the cake to rise. Remember, when we're explaining answers, we want to be trying to stab our answers, so we're using the words so, therefore, as, or because. Our next question is all about considerations we need to make when making a chocolate ganache. So if we're asked to identify a consideration when making a chocolate ganache, we could write temperature of the cream. If we're asked to describe a consideration when making a chocolate ganache, we could be writing something along the lines of the temperature of the cream. If it's cold, then it can slow down the melting of the chocolate. If we're asked to explain a consideration when making a chocolate ganache, remember we want to give a reason why or how, and we want to be stabbing our answer. So we could be writing something along the lines of the temperature of the cream. If cold, it can slow down melting, so making an undesirable lumpy/gritty texture. So you can see in your explanation, you've given a reason why we don't want the chocolate or the cream, to be cold when we are making a chocolate ganache. Our next example is all about the storage of a fruitcake. So if we were asked to identify a method of storage for a fruitcake, we can simply write down greaseproof paper. If we were asked to describe how to store a fruitcake, we'd be wanting to be writing something a little bit more detailed. So we'd be writing something like it's loosely wrapped in greaseproof paper. If we were, however, asked to explain the storage of a fruitcake, we're going in with our description by saying it's loosely wrapped in greaseproof paper, but we want to give a reason why we want to do that. So our reason why is therefore preventing it from drying out. Top tips when being asked to explain in practical cake craft. So remember, when we're being asked to explain, we always want to give a reason why or how. Think about a small child, they always want to know why, so keep going until you've given a reason why or how. If you struggle to give a reason why or how, read back through your answer and make sure that you have been using the words so, therefore, as, or because. That's known as stabbing your answer. If you've got one of these words in your answer, you are more likely to be fully explaining your answers. And finally, if you are given a product or person in your question, make sure your answer is being specific to the product or person in the question. So for example, the question that we've just went through about the chocolate ganache, if it was considerations to be making when you're making a chocolate ganache to spread on a chocolate Swiss roll, we want to be making our answer specific to the chocolate Swiss roll.